Hello fellow travelers and welcome back to our Big's Adventure. My name is Cynthia and today we're gonna can sausage and kale soup starter. That's right, I've already begun the canning process. I've got my jars here. Cookie, where'd you go?
There she is.
She's right there. I got my canning partner. This is a real life homestead moment. I don't do aesthetic videos or anything fancy. This is you and me in my kitchen grinding out food preservation. So if you're ready, press the like button and let's get to work. This week on the meal plan, I decided to get some of that sausage out of my freezer and into our bellies. So I was gonna make one batch of Italian kale and white bean soup with sausage in it. When I went to the store, I was like, I have a lot of sausage. Let's just get 3 huge bags of kale and can up a whole batch. My washing machine is going. It's a very busy Saturday here at our tiny homestead. You can hear the birds, they're going crazy. So the first thing I'm gonna do is sort through the kale. I have canned this soup before and we actually ate every single jar of it. It's time to do some more.
This soup is a total fave for Mr. Biggs and myself. I don't like to can the kale stems. I think they taste bitter once they've been in the jar for a long time. I'm saving all the carrot tops, onion peels, garlic skins, everything for my soup starter bag, which is now completely full. The food processor saves a ton of time when I'm making the Italian white bean, kale, and sausage soup because shredding all of those carrots would literally take me hours.
Now comes the crazy part. We have to chop 6 onions, so woo! Get out the tissues, ladies and gentlemen.
These onions were super strong. I'm also going to go ahead and chop up all of the garlic.
All of these amazing scraps I have for next time I want to make a soup. And any kale stems are going to go in here as well. So this is gold. First round of sausage is all cooked, so it's time to drain this and get it ready to go in some jars. Let's talk about this sausage for a second. So I bought some of the sausage at Aldi and some at Winn-Dixie. All of it was on sale. It's been hanging out in my freezer. It's time for it to get into a jar. This sausage is not all the way cooked, but that's okay. I cooked it mostly. This is gonna go in a quart jar for 90 minutes. So the chances of it remaining uncooked during that time are 0. So let's get it in some jars. If you've never canned before or canned anything with meat in it, you've never pressure canned, I have a series of videos. I'll link it here, a little playlist, so that you can check that out. I have all of my ingredients ready to go into the jars. I've got sausage, ta-da, garlic, onion, carrot, kale. I'll probably need bag 2 of kale, but that's okay. And I also have my crock pot ready to go, and we're gonna have a soup on Sunday for dinner. So I figured if I was gonna make a small batch, I might as well make a huge batch. I'm a huge fan of cook once and eat more than a few times.
Next step is filling the jars. If this is your first time canning with me, I use my hands to fill my jars. I could use a measuring cup or something else, but that's the way I was taught to can, is just use your hands and cram in the jars.
Next up, I'm gonna put a bouillon cube in each jar. Just for flavor. The sausage is super flavorful, but when you can it, sometimes it can taste watered down because we are gonna put water in these jars because it's a soup.
At this stage of the game, feel free to use a prepackaged broth or any bone broth that you may have made. Chicken broth works wonderfully in this recipe and tastes super delicious. I didn't have any broth on hand, so I just decided to use a bouillon cube and some plain water. When you're putting the water in the jars, you're going to want to go very slow. Keep tamping the jar down and making sure that you have all of your air bubbles out and you can get as much as possible in each jar. When you're satisfied that you have all of your air bubbles out and you have your 1 inch of headspace, go ahead and wipe the rims with vinegar so that you can get your tops on. Put your rings on finger tight and head into the canner.
This part always makes me think of the night before Christmas, like the children were nestled all snug in their beds while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. I've already got my vinegar in here, my label's facing out. I'm gonna do my safety check on my lid and get these started. Now to clean up the rest of my mess. This is amazing because this can go right in the crock pot tomorrow and I can make Sunday lunch. I think I'm gonna put the rest of that kale in the dehydrator overnight. This seems like a good idea. Carrots, I'll use those for something.
My canner's been singing along nicely for almost the whole 90 minutes. Everything looks great.
And you're probably asking yourself, Cynthia, didn't you say that this was a Tuscan Italian sausage, kale, and white bean soup? You're right, it is. I like to add the beans when I open the jar because I have beans in my prepper pantry and I prefer the texture of beans that have been canned commercially. I don't know why. Sometimes when I've canned beans in the past with soup, they kind of explode and get all mushy and I don't really like that. So when I open up the jar, I put the beans in at that time.
Here's the top off the canner. The jars look great. Mr. Biggs was playing the video game and I don't want to get a copyright strike on the soundtrack to that. These jars are totally cooled off. It's actually the next morning. Look how pretty that is with the layers in the soup. This is what the soup looked like coming out of the crock pot. Mr. Biggs and I enjoyed a nice bowl for lunch the next day with some Parmesan cheese shreds on top. I took some of the leftover kale and made a kale and strawberry salad with those carrot shreds. The rest went into the dehydrator to be preserved for later.
Thank you so much for watching and staying until the end. Hope you got something out of the video. If you are looking for a canning mentor, I would love to answer any questions that you may have. If you're new to canning, if you're an old hat at canning, let's be friends and connect and get you to get some stuff in some jars. Thank you again, everybody, for your continued support on my channel. And if you're new, I would love it if you subscribed. Remember, life is an adventure, so enjoy your journey.